Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. You know this is a serious video. I got the middle part and the not messing around gold hoops on. We've got some top story news in this video. Patrick Ta has a new palette. Major Dimension 3 is here. I have been playing with this like it's my job lately. Not wavering, not jumping to another product, just really focusing on this and figuring out what I think about it. So what it is 10 shades of powder shadow, and then under the window you got 2 creams, as is his style with palettes, but everything in there is matte. I think you can kind of tell that the top row, well, you can't really tell anything with how reflective this is. Top row more warm, bottom row very cool. We do have a pure black in there as well. The mirror, the beautiful, you know, nice size. With the other Patrick Ta palettes that I have, you get a row of matte, but then they also put in the shimmer. And there's the first one that was kind of more bronzy, and then the next one came and it was rosy. And that was actually the one I started with, but I loved it so very much that I felt compelled to get the first one after the fact. But anyway, we want to talk about this today. We're going to form a whole matte look, a 3-pronged matte approach with my new Patrick Ta blush and also a Patrick Ta matte lip color. Okay, so it's all coming in. Some might say, well, you're doing the matte eye, let's do glowy skin. Let's balance that out somehow. And I might be like that sometimes too, but for some reason today I feel like, no, we're going hard. We're going fully matte. We're making matte the vibe, okay? All in all, I have pretty matte skin right now. I'll explain what's on the base look. I use my Laura Geller Spackle Mattify. That's one of my favorite, like, kind of mattifying and pore concealing primers. So I've got that on all over. We used our Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte in soft beige as our base foundation. I pulled in Dermablend Cover Care Concealer. This is in 15C, and that went over all the usual suspects. And then we set that with our Maybelline Fit Me. I also dusted on a little bit of L'Oreal Infallible, just lightly all over, so we could get a nice consistent finish on everything. Then for contour, I used my M Cosmetics stick in the shade Terra. This is the cooler of the two that I have. I don't know why I'm trying to hold this all in my hands, but this did a beautiful job of contouring. Like, it's so smooth, it blends like on another level, truly. So after that, I did brows, and then now we're ready for the cheek, and then the eye and the lip, which are all going to be kind of a matte look as well. Now, you saw that I got the new blush in She's Wanted. This is one of Patrick's new shades. It has the cream and the powder, and it's intense. And I don't think I have a single blush in my collection that wears as well as this one. Like, since my Sephora haul video, was that what it was? Did I call it a haul? Yeah, new Sephora makeup. Since that video, like, I've been wearing this a lot. Sometimes I'll just do the cream or just the powder. Sometimes layer them both. But in whatever capacity I use this, it wears like iron. I will see it for sure at the end of the day. Now it's rich and it's pigmented. Not everybody's up for that, but you just hang in there with me. This is going to be a fun look. So we've got the powder. Patrick Ta's philosophy with these products is to use the powder first and top with the cream. And I think it's kind of a finish thing. Like, it just makes the skin look a little more lively having that cream as the top step. But you can switch it around if you want to. It's your stuff. You paid for it. You do it how you want. But look, if you like a blush that really shows, you may get a lot of satisfaction out of this. And I realize now that it's looking its wildest, you know, but it will come together by the end. By the time we get a darkened up eye and a full lip, this blush will make sense, I assure you. But yeah, the pigment is so there. And the strategy of thinking like, okay, I have to top cream with powder and that's what locks everything in, I really don't do it that way, and it still stays wonderfully. Okay, we're dabbing, we're dabbing, we're dabbing. It's looking like a lot. I take a little stipple brush, and I'm just using a hint of this because we have so much blushiness already on. Just real gentle with it, okay? Then I'm gonna go ahead and take my Kosas Cloud Set. I am not putting on a shimmery highlighter today. I'm taking Cloud Set, and I'm going over what we call the seam. Look how it looks without that kind of blending, and look how it looks with. Just smoother overall. And I sometimes do this at the tail end of the look, but I thought I'd just do it now. And I'm going to go actually all around the blush with that. Due to the blush's high pigment, I'm just going to take advantage of this beautiful softening that I can do with it. Now let's get into this palette, and we're also going to discuss in this video 2 different alternatives to this. Both of them are less expensive and they just kind of prove that there are other options too. But as you can see in this palette, we have what looks like a distinctly cooler row and a warmer row, and you can totally complete a full look staying within those ranges. But I've been doing a lot of kind of mixing. What did I do yesterday? I went very cool and dark on the lid and then blended it out into warmth. Something I really like about this is the nice easy gradient. So when you see these shades slowly changing from, you know, a little bit darker, and that gradient is so close between the shades. I mean, you can see there's a difference between all the shades, right? But it's close as they get deeper and deeper. When you see that, you know you're going to have a very easy time blending because we're not jumping from here to there. You know, we have a nice ease with it. And I'm loving looks that take up a lot of the surface area that I have. So going really high on the eye, just not looking like they have a stopping point, easily fading out. I did this little like gel stuff that was out of a mascara wand to neaten up my hairs, and the gel kind of showed a little bit there. But I'm first gonna prime, okay? Milani eyeshadow primer, I will dab that on real quick. In terms of the way I like to use those creams, I suppose you could use them like liners. I mean, they're plenty dark enough. What I like to do if I really want more intensity in my outer corner, I'll take one of those two shades and just give it like a little dab when I get to that point of my eye look and use it almost like a little outer corner base. That's the main way I use these. Oh, we just got eye primer going every which way over here. It's picture day today.
Picture day.
Yay. So go back and get your rest, okay? Love you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with this shade right here in the middle of my top row. It feels a little peachy to me. It definitely does have some depth to show. See what I mean? Like you pop it on, you can immediately see it. It's just a great starting point. If I want to go deeper, I can, but if I want to go lighter as I work up above, I've got two lighter shades to work that gradient with, you know? I do feel like this palette was a well-timed release. You know how sometimes things come out and you're like, gosh, this thing was kind of before its time, like something turned out to be a big trend, and you think back to a palette that really would have suited that, but it came out a while ago. Or sometimes things hit it late, but this one, I feel like everybody's in the mood for these natural looks, and you don't have to use a lot of shadows for them. You know, you could pick one or two and achieve the kind of look that I'm seeing a lot of, which is very simple on the eyes, really. Big trend towards simplicity. Okay, see what we're doing just with the one shade? Blending out, blending the edge, just sticking with that same brush. I don't have anything extra on it, but I'm putting a real focus on my edge. And see what I was saying earlier about, like, we're approaching the brow with this. We want such a fade, okay? Now go to the next shade lighter in that top row. There's a little excess to tap off. These are nice and soft shades, but it's not like you're going like whoosh, huge plume of powder every time you go in. They're firm enough. Okay, we're blending up from that. Blend the edge. And then we have this nice buttery shade. We also have a super opaque white, which looks amazing on the inner corner, I will say, so we'll probably get there. But I'm taking the buttery one that's on the top row. And again, a layering. These shades are just blending one into the next with no problem at all. Maybe you've had one of the other Patrick Ta palettes and the shimmers just aren't your cup of tea and you never used them much, but you love the mattes. Like, this is all matte, baby. Okay, so here's where we're at now with our lightest three top row shades. Now I think I want to go a little bit deeper. And so I'm going to go to my next shade darker. So this was where we began in the crease. We got lighter and lighter as we went up. Now we're going a little darker. Same brush. Been working with the same brush the whole time. Outer corner. Add a little. Okay. See what we did there? There we are. I do want to demonstrate using some of the cream as that like outer corner base like I talked about. So very thoughtfully, they keep creams under windows. Patrick Ta is not going to expose any creams. I'm going to use the brown that's in the top row, get a little bit on my finger, and then I'm just going to dab that on the outer corner of my eyelid. It's just going to look like a matte neutral brown. But once you go over that with some powder, I feel like there's just kind of an added cling and an added pure opaque intensity. And you know, you got the option there to do a little layering. Why not use it, right? If you got the time. I am kind of making an attempt to get that to the crease. Okay, see where we're at? Now I'm gonna pull in our deepest brown powder shadow right here on the end. Pick it up with a flat brush. And we're gonna start tapping this on the outer lid. We're overlapping where we just did that cream. You can flip your brush, do a little wedging if you please. We're trying to ensure that that darkest shade gets in the outer corner. It's a pleasure. Like, I'm enjoying myself so much right now. I love a matte look. I love having a full palette of mattes and being encouraged to go there with it. Because a matte look done well is just so satisfying. It's satisfying to look at, it's satisfying to do. It can just look so smooth when you're given the proper gradient of shades. So that's why I like this palette. But there are some other palettes that I like for the same reason. So we'll get there. We did some padding and some pressing, and this is our top row. And you can see, like, I know you guys know how dark black can look. So the black is there. You can layer black on black cream and get it as absolutely deep as you want. But I thought maybe there might be some more question about how dark really is the top row brown there. And to me, it feels even darker than I might have expected. Then a shade that I like pulling in when I'm in this kind of like, okay, we're blending our brown into our other shades. This one right here is really nice for that. It's the dark brown in the bottom row, the cooler brown beside the black. I mean, it wouldn't hurt for these shades to have names. Just describe them by their positioning. The neighbor to the black shade, but I like kind of putting that in the crease, outer corner. And then we'll do some more blending up, but isn't that nice? It really is a rich look, you know? A not messing around, classy, timeless kind of vibe, I think. It is picture day today for the girls, and Biddy has not yet decided what she's gonna wear, but she's been a little more low-key about what she wears. I'll say, do you want me to just go up and grab you a dress? Yeah, sure, you decide. Okay. Going back to my original crease brush, now that we've added this depth, sometimes I just want to roll over that a little bit, and sometimes you can catch some of that darkness that just went up into the crease and make sure it all gets blended with everything else, you know? See that? Ooh. It's so smooth and it's kind of toasty. And another nice thing about this is we don't have to go stark and light with the remainder of my eyelid here. We can keep that easy gradient going. I think it looks really nice. Let's go with that original shade we put in our crease. And let's like put that right here over all the rest of the lid. Welcome to the look with like no harsh jump offs. I'm just kind of easing that up a little bit above the inner crease because I feel like it didn't originally really go there that much when we first put that shade in the crease. So again, it's the middle of the upper row mattes. It looks a little peachy, but like kind of a burnt, dusty peach. And then you want to feel like you're going a little bit up above that crease for that easy, blended, there are no harsh endings to this look kind of thing. Then if you dust off your brush, tap into the white. Get a little bit on the tip of your brush and go right in here. It's fully opaque white. Like you can have brightening. Just use that and blend it gently into everything else. It looks so good. White done right. Oh man, I came up with a great rhyme the other day because we couldn't find Belle's glasses after school, and I'm like, where did you leave them? And she was like, I haven't seen them since I took them to church, because she only wears them to see far away. Our rule has basically been, you know, when you're in a classroom setting, have them on. And then I look in the purse that she took to church with her on Sunday, and they were in there, but they were loose. They were not in their case. Now, we've had one broken pair of glasses already last year, and I'm like, if they're not on your face, they're in the case. Yeah, that's good. So here's where we're at with the eye look, guys. What am I putting this away for? I want a little smokiness on the lower lash line. I want like small pointed brush type of thickness. Let's go to this shade right here. And we're just gonna nudge that right on down on the lower lash line. Nice and soft and easy. We can see there's definition there, but again, we don't see a harsh like liner type of look. I have used every shade in this palette, and I can say with confidence that there are no difficult colors. Even the black, like I worked with that yesterday and I didn't have a hard time at all. Quality is there, the shade selection and gradient is there. You know, if you see this and you say, well, I would like that to look more rosy or whatever, well, look to the Major Dimension 2. That's what had that. If I go under my eye with a little powder shadow, I find I have really good staying power if I take like this, just a little small brush into Cloud Set and immediately go underneath it. I think it just absorbs any oils that develop and keeps everything nice and bright there, directly in that zone. A little bit on the brush. Use any powder you like that's matte and not too heavy. We are doing a lash with this look. It's gonna be the Kiss So Wispy. This is the style number 11. It just looks like kind of a bumped up in length demi wispy. So I am gonna need kind of a liner base for that, although I think this could be a pretty look right here. Stopping now, curling the lashes, putting on mascara. Oh no, why did I think the other end was the cap? Ugh. Any liner you want. This is my Sephora Colorful Wink It Felt Tip Liner in the shade Little Black Dress. And I'm just hugging tight to my lash line. In case you were wondering, none of the shades I used produced any fallout, which was really nice to see. And I'm not going to do a wing. I just want the shape of the shadow to speak for itself. Hanging in there tight to the lash line, and that's that. One clean black line. Well, hopefully 2 clean symmetrical black lines. So at this point, I'm just gonna pop on my mascara and those lashes, and we'll finish things off with the lip. We'll also talk about some other palette alternatives. Okay guys, here's the finished eye look. What random mascara did I use? This Lancome Lash Idol mascara, and then I popped on the lash, the number 11 So Wispies, giving me kind of that flared out effect at the outside, and I put Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water on the lower lashes. So now the only thing to do is finish off with the lipstick, and when I ordered that palette, I decided I wanted to try one of these matte lipsticks from Patrick Ta, and I got the shade called Complicated. One complicated thing about the packaging is that you think like this is the bottom, but that's actually the top cap. That's fine, it's cool, be different. And then the lipstick, it's an experience putting one of these on. You start to put it on and you think, okay, thick, heavy, matte lipstick. That's just the vibe I get. Like a lot of color's gonna come off. It feels kind of thick, but then once you get it all on and you press your lips together, you're like, how is this light as air? It really is only putting a light layer on. But for some reason, as it crosses your lips, it feels like it's gonna be heavier than that. Really wanting to stick to this shade and this shade only, just so you can see the pure color that it is. This is called the Major Headlines Matte Lipstick. I will be looking for dupe possibilities on this, by the way. I just haven't had the chance to do it yet. The shade I have is called Complicated, and it actually does look like maybe the darkest shade that they make. There's another deep one called She Must Be New, and it looks like it's more of a purpley wine, whereas this is really like a dark, dusty rose. So guys, we're there. We're finished with the look. What do you think? I do think this is a very unique feeling lipstick. It does wear for hours. After a meal, like it is gonna wear down. But like yesterday, I remembered noting, wow, this totally got through the morning and it looks really nice. And it's just crazy how as it crosses the lips, you think this is gonna be a thick matte lipstick. But then it feels so light. And it's not like there's a hard drag with it. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just feel like a lot of products transferring off, and I feel like it should be heavier when it's all said and done, but it feels just so light as air, but that shade is so fall. I like the way She's Wanted shears out on the cheeks to give this kind of pinky freshness. You know, when you go light with that, it looks so pretty, and I think it kind of freshens up what is an overall matte look. And then of course that eye. As promised, I want to chat about the eye palette and a couple of other like alternatives that I've identified in my collection. These are things that check the boxes of having the easy gradient and also having the warm and the cool, like Patrick Ta's. What these alternatives do not have are the built-in creams, okay? I guess you could find your own deep brown or black cream shadow or shadow stick to play with if you really wanted to do this layer. layering thing without getting the Patrick Ta palette. But one option is the ColourPop Gone Matte. One drawback here, which may or may not be a drawback, I guess. A drawback maybe for frequent travelers would be the fact that this palette is so big, but it truly is an amazing matte wardrobe. If you look down the rows, look at them vertically, and you've got your color schemes. So our warmest brown, getting slightly less warm, more of a neutral brown. We even have rose, a dusty purple into plum, and our cool grays into black. We have all the depth possibilities and even more things. I mean, we've got burgundy in here. We've got plum and like almost blackened plum. We've got all the mid-tones to work with, and we got pure black and some cooler things as well. So I do feel like I could mimic what was done on one eye on another eye with this palette. It's all 100% matte, and it's every matte neutral color you could need, and then some, I think. So a lot of versatility here, and it's going to work out to be, what, about half the price? Honestly, like, you could create with this, but it's more bulky. The Patrick Ta palette has a nice kind of grab and go feel. So you might be saying, Em, do you have anything that's not that big that could be comparable to the Patrick Ta? And my mind goes to the Viseart Neutral Matte palette. So this was like the first Viseart palette that really took off. Remember when everybody was like wanting this, and this is like an $80 palette, and now they've made smaller sizes. Also, currently on Viseart's website, their $80 palettes are half off for $40 at the time I'm shooting this. And then they even have like a petite version of this, which is always going to be less. And I think even at regular price should amount to being less than the Patrick Ta one. What's going on here is we've got our black, we've got our brown. The cools go cooler in this palette and the warms go warmer. We've got a bunch of like medium kinds of shades which give me that gradient ability, right? We have that chance to blend and get a really smooth blend, but the cool shades are like downright gray here, and the warm is practically orange. You have a little more range with this. Also, the Patrick Ta palette, you're getting 12 shades, 2 of them are creams. If we're just talking powders, it's only 10, and this is 12. So more powder shades, actually. So if you already own this, you know, if it's been a while since you pulled this out, this can achieve, I think, some very similar looks, but it can also take you to some even more bold extremes with the gray and with the orange. So those are just my things to think about outside of the Patrick Ta palette. Now, a couple things. You know, I love Patrick Ta's quality. I really like just the luxe feel. I think it's cool that those creams are in there, and I really like the looks I've been doing. Every single look, I've liked it. It is quality galore. I wouldn't have mentioned these if I didn't think they were also quality galore. Super consistent, very pigmented. But to put it in perspective, I don't think it's as dazzling and wonderful to me as like the Major Dimension 2, the rosy one that has both matte and shimmer. Even though I love an all matte look, that gives me plenty of matte stuff to do, but then the shimmers are like so dazzling, and a special thing about them is that they don't like fall off and sprinkle off my eye onto my face during the rest of the day. And the bronzy one is really great too. But I guess my point is I can love this palette and still say that there are some comparable things out there that maybe you already have, or you could pick up for a lower price if you want the all matte look and you want to be able to achieve in one palette something that's a little warmer and also something that's cooler. Am I glad I got the Patrick Ta though? As a hardcore makeup enthusiast who loves her eyeshadow palettes, yes, I'm happy with it. I really am. There's not a thing bad about it besides, you know, it's pricey. I can fully love and enjoy doing an all matte look, so it really does please me to use it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you took a little inspiration from it, a few ideas on the way that palette works and some comparisons, and let me know your take in the comments section. I would love to know how you feel about this palette if you've tried it out. So have a great day, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye. Bye.